Hello and welcome to a fresh episode of Backstage with Boria with Satyanarayan, General Secretary of the AIFF and somebody who has been at the thick of things. Getting ISL started, I League started after a period of serious uncertainty, apprehension. And I have to say this, people have embraced the I League and the ISL. The quality of broadcast has been extremely decent and a success to the AIFF. But now the All India Football Federation has floated a fresh tender but have not made the request for proposal public this time. So to understand more on that, Satyanarayana joins me in this episode. Why was it not made public? What is the story? Can you give me a little bit more detail?
Yeah. So, first of all, Boria, thank you for having me. Just a small correction. I'm not the General Secretary. I'm the Deputy Secretary General.
Today,
So,
second.
yes. Okay. Yeah. Regarding what we've seen is the last time, we put out the RFQ, and most of the RFQs, it's been free for everyone to, download it or, go through it. And then we had a lot of, unwanted people who actually were not seriously interested, but, who sort of, who took part, who took the document, and then there are lots of uh, you know discussions and this thing, and we just thought, see, this is a 15 plus 5 year deal, and it's a very serious long term. So we just want only those who are actually interested, to take the document, and to do the, to sort of go through it. And so there's nothing else behind this. That's the only reason why we've this time decided to put it under a paywall. And so hopefully, let's see.
And how
But
confident are you? Now that you've had success with the 1 year, how confident are you?
yeah, so there's been a slight change in the way we approach this RFQ, because we've not put any base price, and we put out the ISL and the IWL and the IWL2 and the Super Cup, which now we're calling the Federation Cup, because the Exco has taken a decision to rename it as the Federation Cup so that we can get the connect back to the olden days. So this tender is only for these properties. We are only giving away that 30%, which a commercial partner is supposed to get. So anyone who bids will be bidding for that 30% of the commercial part. And what we've tried to do is we've tried to ensure that each of these competitions, on its own merit, tries and stands alone in the market. So let us see how it goes,
Mhm.
and we'll take it forward from there.
But so far, the way the ISL and the I League started since then, and I have seen, I'm in Kolkata, for example. I've personally watched a couple of games, and my team covers it every day, and you know that. I think you have had very good response. Fans have embraced it, quality has been good. So that should give you a lot of confidence about the prospect of this particular tender.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So just going back on that, Boria, one of the reasons why we had this, it started off smoothly. Firstly, we had a lot of help from the previous partners, which is FSDL. They totally helped us with everything what we needed, sort of held us a bit, held our hand together in this. And then all the clubs, the stakeholders, all came together. So together we are doing this, and yes, there are a lot of teething problems. We've got a lot of scope to improve, but I think as things go, it'll get ironed out. The fact is, this year we don't have a full-fledged marketing partner. We just managed to get our broadcast partner. So with that, we started off. We're still looking around to see if we can get a title sponsor, some support sponsors. So once that comes, then that's also add a little more value. So far, it's been good, I feel. One of the main what was the driving force was, Boria. The two main stakeholders which we needed to address is the players, coaches, support staff, and the fans. So that was
Correct.
always what our thinking was. If we can ensure that we can fund the production, and if we can fund all the officials, then at least we can address these two stakeholders. So that is something which we managed to do, of course, thanks to all the clubs and the support what we got from them. So let's see from here, it has to get stronger. But our endeavor is to get in a long-term partner, because without the support of a commercial partner,
Yeah,
it is going to be difficult.
absolutely point taken. Because, but again, one step at a time, and I hope things get resolved because ultimately there is a huge amount of support and fan passion for this particular sport in India. Make no mistake. I mean, I see Mohun Bagan fans, East Bengal fans, Mohammedan sporting fans in Calcutta. There is enormous amount of fan passion. So hopefully FSDL also comes forward. So the point that I was saying is, FSDL also, they have put in a lot of work. I mean, if you take the amount of money spent for 15 years, they also have put in huge amount of work in developing Indian football.
That's very, very true, and we always placed on record, because what they've done is, they've elevated the ISL itself to such a high standard. The way they organized it, they conducted it, the professionalism with which they approached it. And just to give a small example, is last year when we advertised for a senior men's national team coach, we got over 300 applications. Now, the reason is not that everyone applied because we are a great footballing team and they wanted to take the job, but word had spread around about the professional way, about the professional way in which the top league football has been organized. A lot of the foreign coaches have spread the word around of the professional way, the game is organized. So all this truly helped. And for this, credit just goes to the way FSDL, organized the league. And yeah, we're truly always indebted to them to for having taken the game to this level. And that will be the benchmark for us to try and sort of reach that and maybe emulate it.
I hope they too come forward because they've done the hard work. I hope,
Yes,
fingers crossed, for the sake of Indian football, they come forward as well, and then we will see, may the best bidder win. So
yes.
no debate on that. There has been a little bit of criticism, Satya. I hope you will take this question. There has been a bit of criticism about a kit mix-up issue for our women's team. But can you also address that while also telling me, your highlights about the team's preparations ahead of the Asian Cup?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
has the new head coach prepared the squad for the tournament?
Yeah. So the bad news first. We have not been able to get a kit partner, so we've been having negotiations with one of the biggest, in the country. They said they will help us, but they said this Australia trip is too close. So after that, we'll start supplying the kit. So we had to go to some other source to, get the kits. So we went to Tirupur, which is one of the biggest manufacturer of garments, and we placed the order and we gave the sizes, etc. And the kit landed direct. It was shipped from the manufacturer to Australia. It went on a Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, with though it was closed, we managed to get it clear in the customs. Unfortunately, on Monday, when the girls tried out the kits, they turned out to be a little too tight for them. So I don't know how this happened. So we are yet to get back to the manufacturer to find out what happened. But in the meanwhile, we immediately ordered. The Macron is a big brand in Australia. We ordered two sets of kits for them, a light blue and an orangish color. And this morning at 9:30, yesterday we ordered it. Overnight we got all the names and everything done. And this morning at 9:30 or 10 during the match commissioners meeting, it has been cleared. So that has been sorted out. Yes, it was a little unfortunate. It does, but anyway, we got over that. So hopefully the girls are happy, and let's see what happens tomorrow. As far as the preparation is concerned, as you know, Borea, almost since 2 years we've been at it. We gave the senior team some of the best exposure tools. Probably we almost always ensured they played against strong teams, and even in Dubai they played Russia, etc. Then we've been going to Uzbekistan. Their teams came here. So the girls have had, I mean, the players have had a good set of exposure trips and the local camps. And the second thing is this year, unfortunately, because East Bengal qualified for both the AFC Club Championship and the first ever SAF Championship, which they won. So almost that entire December, November, December, we couldn't have the camp. And then quickly we had to go through with the first leg of the IWL. So anyway, the team we now again we sent them on a long trip to Turkey. They had two sets of games, almost I think nine, and the new coach joined them there. So our both Mr. Crispin Chetri and Priya and the new coaches, they've all joined together. hopefully we'll see something good tomorrow. Let's see. But the women have really uh, played their heart out so far. We've got three games. Of course, one is very very tough. The other two, we feel we have an outside chance. We're just maybe two games away from doing the unthinkable. So let's hope. We just request all the clubs, etc., in the whole country, the states, everyone to come together to cheer the team tomorrow. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, these girls are genuinely close. It's not that, we are saying for the sake of saying. They are genuinely close to history. So
Yes.
we want to put this on record, Satya, and not just these girls. Three teams qualifying for the Asian Cup. Talk about it. Indian women's football has had it very good in 2025.
Yes. And also the fourth team being under 17 boys. So
In
I think
boys.
never in the history earlier have we had four teams qualify for the Asian Cup final round. And of course, it's going to be very competitive from now on. But I think all the four teams will stand the test which they face. And like now, even in the girls team, it's 12 teams. Six of them directly qualify for the World Cup. The other two will play some other qualifiers from the other continents. So if we just get out of the group, then we are in the top eight, and hopefully it's and right now at the ground level, Boria, thanks to the Asmita leagues, which has been initiated by the Khelo India, a lot of 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds are getting to kick football in an organized way, and so I think now the bottom of the pyramid is really getting strong and wide. So I think this women's
Hope
movement is going to.
women's football in the next few years. We can clearly
Yes.
hope good things.
Yes, and this under 20 squad is very good. And Mr. Our Swedish coach, Joachim, he's had taken them to Sweden. We had them almost for a month over there, and he's very very confident of this team. So it's really a solid team. The under 19 girls 20, they've been together for some time. So let's see. Hopefully, anyway, at some stage, if we need to be at the top, then we have to start beating the big teams. So perhaps that start can happen here. Let's attempt it, but at least we are there now. And with all the three teams being there, it shows that the Indians football is at that level. So it's not by fluke they're there. So hopefully, let's hope for some little bit of luck, some quality, and maybe like all of us in the country say, the women might make it to the World Cup before the men.
Yeah, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I mean, I genuinely believe this can happen. Last couple of questions before I let you go. One, the men's national team returns on 31st March, that for Hong Kong game, even though it's an inconsequential fixture in that sense. But are you working on bringing in more overseas players like Ryan Williams, for example? What's the plan?
See, Ryan, right now, Ryan is already in. And unfortunately, if he was there for that game and we had won and we had qualified, maybe there would have been a little more success in wooing others. But the message has been sent. A lot of them now realize that they have a chance, to play for India. So let's see how it goes from here. I mean, we've got. I mean, it's not going to be very busy after this. It also gives Khalid the time to sort of look at the under 23 boys, and that's another thing. Under 23 would have qualified. One is we did not have a full strength, and they really played well. It was we just missed by a whisker. Otherwise, they also would have been there. But now we start preparing them for the Asian Games and the Olympics. So that's another task which is there. So
Asian Games, are you going to request the government? Because in terms of rankings, it will be difficult. Last time
yeah,
we know what happened.
yeah, it will be difficult, but you know how the popularity of the game is and the
Correct.
number of people who play it. So we have to, once again request the government, and hopefully, if we can prevail, this team has got a good chance.
Okay.
They can do well.
Okay. One question, as as a journalist and also as a fan, could you clarify what's happening with the ban imposed on Mumbai supporters? You mentioned the club has the right to appeal. Could you elaborate what's going on?
Okay, so I mean, quite a few people might not be aware. This started in the last match of last season, where some fireworks, etc., went and landed in, I
Yeah,
think, the owner's box,
yeah.
etc.
Parjindal mentioned it to
Yes,
me.
yes, yes. So after that, all these incidents are immediately, escalated to the disciplinary committee. So they had taken this thing for a stadium ban, but kept that suspended. So what happened is this time in the first match, Uh, Lots of firecrackers were again there. So again, that was escalated to them. And since the club also knew, and the discipline committee had already given this decision that it was a suspended sentence, automatically the ban came in now. So that's what it is. But a lot of fans believe that it is the AFF's decision to ban the fans. It's not. It's an independent disciplinary committee which is headed by a retired Supreme Court judge, and there's also a High Court judge in the committee. So it's their decision, and the appeal which came just came in the form of a mail. There is a process, so we've written to them. So hopefully, if either if they appeal or they ask for a review, it will be considered. So, like I told you in the beginning, for us, fans are one of our biggest stakeholders. And that was one of the main reasons whenever we decided to start the leagues, it was keeping in mind both the players and the fans, because without them, I mean, we there's no job for all of us. So we do understand, and I was there for that Mohun Bagan game, the opening match, and it was really so pleasing to watch that many people for the first game, where a lot of people thought the league will never take place.
Correct.
So without them, and the noise they make, the support they give, but unfortunately, this is something which the clubs need to take seriously, should ensure that these fireworks are not brought into the stadium, because it's in this game, of course, it was not that they put the fireworks on the rival on the supporters or anything, but even when they burst it among themselves, it's banned. And like around the world, even big teams have had stadium bans. So we also need to get a bit professional on how we ensure security in the stadium. But the club, like I said, they have the right to appeal the ban, and let us see what the independent committees. Boria, we don't have any hold over these independent committees, and this time all of them are headed by either retired Supreme Court judges or High Court judges, and they know their, I mean, what they need to do. So that's it. It's not that AFF has done it, with an intention to ensure fans don't come, because now we are part of the league. So I mean, for us, in our interest, we need to see the fans in the stadiums. So this sort of, I mean, it's slightly the message has gone wrong, but I hope this clarifies it.
Final question, coming back, everybody, a lot of people thought that the league wouldn't happen. A lot of people thought, "Arey, Indian football, where is it going?" Finally, we are seeing things happen. I League, ISL, the women are there, the Asian Cup starting, all these. It is. Are we seeing things turn? Are we seeing a silver lining? Are we seeing hope and optimism?
So, Boria, see, there are a few things which happened in this last 12 months. The first was, it was the end of the 15-year deal with FSDL. Unfortunately, that could not be renewed. So that was one milestone which happened in December 8th. So we had to accept that and move forward. The second is, we got a constitution after almost 7 to 8 years. That also came almost at the same time. The third, we've sort of rolled out a new way of how we run the two leagues, where we've given the clubs a 60% ownership, and we hold a 10%, and 30% is for the commercial partners. Four, we finally managed in this way to start the leagues. And five, and most important, is perhaps there will be a correction period, because one of the things which came up continuously was about the salaries, and that is something which the AFF cannot interfere in. But I again have to thank all those players and all those staff who helped their respective clubs by taking some salary cuts. And hopefully, now this new RFQ, if we can get a good partner, and if some sponsors start coming back, title sponsors, etc., I think we should be back where we were. But yeah, so a lot of things happen now at the same time. And again, I have to thank both our management, our executive committee, who have really backed us in every decision that we've taken. And and our staff, we have about 65, 70 people at Football House, another 50, 60 outside, with the teams, etc. So it's been one huge united effort. Not to forget FSDL always helping us, because we had so many doubts. I keep calling them very often, for this and that. They've always been helpful. We've put together a small team, and along with the clubs, we managed to pull it off. So hopefully it can get better. And once we find a good partner, whoever it can be, it's an open tender. We welcome FSDL to be back or whoever is going to come. I just hope we get someone and then maybe football can be back. But I think it will take a couple of years for this correction period to set in. It has been triggered now and it has to settle in. Maybe it will take maybe 2 3 years, whatever it is. But I think football will be back to where it was.
I'll end on that note. Positive, confident but cautiously optimistic, not over the top. That's what I will get out of this interview. That's pragmatic. That's prudence. That rationality, and exactly what the the message should be out there. That the management is keen. They are doing everything possible, but they are also cautious and know what the ground reality is. Thank you very much, Satya, for joining me,
And
for answering the tough ones, the kit question, the RFP question, the preparation question. It's not easy to take the critical ones. Thank you very much for joining
yeah,
me and look forward to having you with me at the Trailblazers Conclave in Calcutta on the
yeah.
14th of March. Look forward to
And
that session where, again, I want to say this to everybody, every stakeholder, AIFF represented by Satya, the Indian Football Association with Anirban, Mohun Bagan East Bengal Mohammedan Sporting, every stakeholder will be represented in that session. Open discussion on the future of Indian football and the road ahead, constructively critical. Do join us for that one. But for the moment, thank you very much, Satya, for joining.
yeah, and Bore, I also need to thank the media, who have been with us, through thick and thin. We do accept their criticism. We only want it to be, I mean, it should be, they should also take in our side of it. But otherwise, we know that every stakeholder in football are there more for the passion. Football is not yet come to that level where it's going to be a paying sport. So I thank all the media who have played a huge role in where we are today.
Thank you very much. And I have to say that I've been critical myself, but the idea was always to be constructively critical. Thank you very much.